The one thing that we fear the most in life is the only thing that can never happen to us. Hi, I'm Keith Varnum, and I'd like to share the realization that has perhaps given me the most freedom, the most joy, the most benefit my whole life. And that is the realization that the one thing that we humans fear the most in life, the one thing we're most afraid of, the one thing we're most scared of, is the only thing that can actually never happen to us. It's the only thing that can never come to pass. You might at first think physical death, but it's actually deeper than that. It's more profound than that. What we actually fear the most is soul annihilation. In other words, that we will disappear, that we will no longer exist as a person, as a soul, not just as a body, but as a being. Our awareness, our self-awareness will disappear completely. That is the greatest fear. And, ironically and joyfully, it's the only thing that can never come to pass. We can create anything we want in our world, except non-existence. It's the only thing that we can't create, is not existing, is no longer being here, no longer being aware. Our form might change, but our essence, our beingness, is eternal. Why is it so liberating? Why is it so wonderful, so joyful, so helpful to have this realization, to know this in your heart and soul? Because all our programming, all our conditioning is based on the fear that we can be killed, that our soul can be annihilated. Everything we do, I call it the maintenance project. Everything we think we have to do, everything we feel we have to do, everything that feels crucial and dire and important and necessary for us to live, for us to be happy, for us to continue to exist. All of that, the maintenance project, all those things we feel we have to do to hold our life together, to keep it all together, to keep ourselves safe. You see? Safe, secure. Safe from what? Safe from non-existence, safe from dying, non-survival. And the joy is every time your mind, your ego, your personality threatens you with non-survival, with death, with not existing, every time it uses that threat, and it's usually a feeling, it's usually a very intense feeling or a background anxiety, every time you sense that, if you have the knowing in your heart, if you have the realization that this threat is empty, that this threat that the ego, the personality is throwing up to you to get you to go to a job you don't like and get you to do things you're not enjoying, to get you to be involved with activities that don't serve you, that don't make your soul sing. Every time the ego gets you to do something that you don't really enjoy doing, you can go to this realization, this awareness, this knowing. Ah, I see what you're trying to pull again. You're trying to convince me that if I don't do this, I won't survive. And when you have this knowing in your heart that the only thing that we fear the most is the only thing that can never happen to us, it gives you a great freedom every moment of your life, as well as a great sense of peace and well-being and joy. So, how can you have this realization? And by realization, I mean it has to be an experiential knowing. You have to know it in your body, soul, and mind throughout your whole being. It has to be a personal awareness, not just an idea or a concept or a philosophy. You could say that this is a very helpful belief. It definitely is a very helpful belief. And it's a much more helpful and useful belief than the one that the ego is presenting, which is that you can be annihilated. Your soul can be extinguished. That's not such a helpful belief. So you can take this all as allowing this belief or to become a knowing, or a very, very helpful belief that's unshakable. And that is that the only thing that can never happen to us is non-survival, not existing. Now, how can you arrive at a place where this is your daily, moment-by-moment knowing that you're safe, secure forever, that you're an eternal being, no matter what? There's many, many ways to play with this awareness so that it becomes real for you, a personal, authentic reality. There's many ways from many traditions, many spiritual teachers. And I'd like to share one with you right now that's been most helpful for me my whole life. And that is to ask yourself, what would happen then? What would happen then? For example, let's take, you have an example of, if I don't have this job, I won't survive. If I don't have this love or relationship with a particular person, or a particular kind of love or relationship or acknowledgement or recognition, I won't survive. Or I need to have a certain amount of money. I need to have a certain situation, certain amount of, certain kind of conditions in which to live. Or I won't be happy, or I won't survive. So let's take the example of a job. And you can also do this on love, relationships, a spiritual connection with God. Any belief you have that you need something, that's necessary for your survival to have something. So take the belief, I need to have this job. Okay? Then you ask, well, what if you didn't have this job? What if it didn't happen? What would happen then? Well, I have no money. Okay? What would happen then? Well, I'd have no food or shelter. I'd have no roof over my head. Well, okay. You have no food or shelter. What would happen then? Well, I die of starvation. I die of exposure. I die. Okay? Well, what would happen then? And this is the crucial moment. When you follow down the programming, follow down the conditioning, follow down the beliefs that your ego would have you believe, that if I don't have this, then this will happen. If I don't have this, then this will happen. Eventually you get to, you'll be left to die, you'll want to die, or you simply will die. And what would happen then? Ask yourself that. And then just hang with that. Well, what if you died? And that's why I suggest you do this little exercise, this asking of this question, when you feel very strong, very adventuresome. Maybe drop into your heart before you do it. Maybe roll your eyes back, down your neck, into your chest. Roll your awareness down from your head into your heart. So you're now in your heart, home, whole, feeling courageous, adventurous, strong, centered. And then ask yourself, what would happen if I didn't have this job, and then no money, and then no food, and no shelter? I would die. And at that point, when you follow down the beliefs, down to the result is that you would die, then ask yourself, well, what would happen then? And wait. Wait, your mind might make many suggestions, but wait until you get an authentic knowing in your heart, from your spirit, from your soul, and intuition. It's worth waiting for. Because at one point you'll have a recognition, an awakening, a realization of what would happen if you died. If nothing comes the first time you play with this, then choose a different subject, a different topic. It might be money, health, love. Choose any set of beliefs that is running you. Anything you think you need to do, you have to do, that feels crucial. And just run it through and ask, what would happen then? Well, what if that didn't happen? Then what would happen then? And then what would happen then? Until you get to, well, I wouldn't survive. I would die. I would be left to die. I wouldn't want to live. Okay, what would happen then? Well, I'd die. I'd let myself die. What would happen then? It's worth waiting for that moment to hang out. And from the depth of that moment, from the depth of your being, at one point an awareness will come, a knowing will come, that will fill your life, fill your spirit, fill you up with a sense of courage, joy, security, adventure. And watch your life then. Watch your life in the next 3 or 4 days after that realization comes. And all kinds of magic will appear. All kinds of miracles and wonderful events will occur. Because you're basically freeing yourself of all conditioning and programming. You're freeing yourself of that basic fear. The glue, that fear, that feeling that holds all the beliefs and the maintenance project and keeping it all together. You're unsticking the glue that's holding that whole agenda together. Wanting to control, needing to have the world a certain way. It's all coming undone. And when it comes undone, and you allow yourself to be in that space of, well, what would happen if I died? What would happen then? And wait for an authentic, real knowing, a personal knowing. And then a whole new horizon, a whole new set of possibilities for living. Alive, joyous, vibrant, will come forth. So remember, the one thing that we all fear the most is the only thing that can never, ever happen to us. Thank you.